Good afternoon and welcome to Glen Willow Stadium in Mudgee. This afternoon, history will be made. The first grand final played in the Peter McDonald Cup here at this magnificent stadium that's hosted City Country, has hosted NRL games and has hosted plenty of major rugby league over the last few years. This afternoon, the Mudgee Dragons have just been led out by their co-captain, Jack Beasley. Of course, the captain coach of the side is Clay Priest, and the big number 13 will be harnessing his troops, but he likes to hand over. And the Park Spacemen now led out by their man of the air, their Spacemen. The Spacemen coming into their first grand final since 2014. They were home hosts in 2011, but it hadn't been a happy hunting ground for the home team, and they went down to Dubbo Sims. They won in 2013, beaten in 2014. Mudgee last hosted a grand final in 2015, but haven't won since 2016 in the old Group 10. The Peter McDonald Cup, brought to you by New South Wales Rugby League, but this Premiership brings together teams from Lithgow to Nyngan. All the old Group 11, Group 10 teams, lots of names and faces who have been around for many years, others who are new. So hopefully this afternoon in the grand final, I can keep you updated with as many of those as possible. My name's Jeff Mann. This is my 33rd grand final since starting off back in the early 1990s. It's the first time since 2011 that a grand final out west hasn't been held at Apex Oval in Dubbo, but what a fine place to be playing rugby league is Glen Willow in Mudgee. And as the cameras pan around this afternoon, you'll see the perfect setting. Lots of trees, hills in the background. You can't see the wineries, you can't see the racecourse, but a famous town for all of those things. The Mudgee Dragons as the teams prepare for the national anthem. Mudgee Dragons, first of all, a bloke that has been around for a lot of years, played in the 2016 grand final. Nathan Orr is the fullback. Ethan Pegas and Jake Durant, both match winners on the day. Jake Durant scoring the great match-winning try last week that saw Mudgee Dragons overcome Dubbo Sims and book their spot and a home ground. David West and Camden Sutton are the centres. Jack Littlejohn, former NRL player, came here to coach 5 years ago and has had most of this year with injury, but coming back today. I don't think anything would have kept Jack Littlejohn away. So the 1st of July was the last time that he played. Tommy Lawson, who played fullback early in the season, is at number 7 in place of Pacey Stockton. Nick Bly and Luke Moody up front, and the co-captain, Jack Beasley, a real little workaholic gingerhead. You'll see him involved in a lot of the play. Billy Carberry, versatile, former Australian A Wallaby, is playing in the number 11, having played at 5/8 in place of Jack Littlejohn for much of the second round. Cody Godden beside him in 12 in the second row, and the co-captain is Clay Priest, former NRL player, a man who's in his 3rd season, but his first finals series, having spent the last 2 finals series in the bench, watching on as his team performed above expectations but failed to win the trophy. Ben Thompson, Chad Chandler, Ryan O'Connor and Hayden Carpenter are in the side, and minus, I mentioned, Pacey Stockton out injured, Will Stockton injured, Harrison Hopkins, Tully Howe, the Western Rams young under-18s player, and of course Zach Sadler, the prop forward from Sydney, who played last week, but after 20 minutes of the first half, with his team down 14-0, was taken from the field in an ambulance and then had to listen to relayed scores as the Mudgee Dragons came back from a deficit of 14-0 and then 22-12 to lock it up, 22 all at full time, before Jake Durant and his wonderful deeds got them home by 29-22. The Park Spacemen, a few players that have been here in grand finals before. Sam Dwyer, the fullback, Malachi Falau and Jacob Smead on the wings. Tui Pompey in the centres. He has a brother playing for the Canberra Raiders, and Fio Fiangi in the number 4 shirt. Emmanuel, or Manny, likes to be called, Seri is at number 6. Chad Porter, the captain coach, was man of the match when they won it in 2013. Jordan Pope, Nico Sovatabua and Joe Dwyer make up the front row. Riley Scott and Brandon Page, who was the winger in 2013, are in the second row. Jake Porter is the lock forward, and the kick-off comes and it's taken deep inside his own half, and usually it's given to somebody, but this time just brought back, and it was the prop forward there, Luke Moody. And a good run, second carry forward, gets them a little bit further up the field, and now Clay Priest, the captain coach, and boy is he a handful. Huge man, gets over the advantage line most times. He looks up and eyeballs his opposite number. It would be a fearsome sight seeing this bloke, who's only played, I think, in 4 grand finals, take his place in the front of the Mudgee Dragons, playing in a country town where the expectation is high. It goes to fullback now, Sam Dwyer. He's taken in a tackle, and another good tackle, gang tackle by 3 of the Mudgee Dragons, who've made this year their year, having won a title early in the year, having trained against the New South Wales Blues ahead of their historic 3rd match in State of Origin, and finishing as minor premiers. Goes across to prop forward now, and a big man he is to Nico Sovatabua. Gets them to halfway. 5 tackles gone. Comes to the 5/8, and what an eye-opener it's been for Parks to have Manny Seri coming into their side at number 6. His kick is high, but not long, and it means that the Mudgee Dragons are able to start on their own quarter, and within 2 tackles almost back to half, as the referee Anthony Pond goes around for his first game, and Mudgee looking to get points on the board early. Cam Sutton it is, the centre, who's been outstanding all year, and there's that little man, the halfback. The captain of the side, well, he's the hooker, but plays like a halfback, and that's Jack Beasley. 4 tackles gone. They're coming to the left-hand side of the field. Another one who's been a star this year, David West, has connections in Wellington, and Dave West gets it back inside the 10. 5 tackles gone. 2 minutes gone in the grand final of the Peter McDonald Premiership, and there he is, out from dummy half, and the ball goes across the field, and the crowd are on their feet as the Mudgee Dragons show that they're here, and that last week's win over Dubbo Sims with a slow start was just a speck in the ocean, because they've come out, they've taken the ball in 2 sets, the length of the field, and just a very well-worked move onto the right-hand side of the field. The try coming to one of the big second rowers, and I think it might have been Cody Godden, who's played plenty of rugby league with the Mudgee Dragons over the years, getting across for the first try of the game. 4-0 in the Peter McDonald Premiership, courtesy of that wonderful piece of work. It came out to the left-hand side after Camden Sutton, the number 4 centre, had taken it on the right-hand side. It came to the left. David West beat a couple of tackles, went to ground, allowed the Mudgee Dragons to set their line. They did that with aplomb, and they've taken the ball across the field, and a short pass coming to the second rower, Cody Godden. And now the attempted conversion, which will give them a 6-0 lead after just 3.5 minutes. Perfect start in the grand final, and the total opposite to last week when they were down 14-0 after just 20 minutes. The kick should have been made from that close to the post, but every time you indicate that somebody's going to kick the goal, they miss, and that one out to the left of the post. So the score remains 4-0, and I think Parks would be thinking that they missed a little bit of a bullet there, because 4-0 is certainly a lot better. The number 11 was Billy Carberry, who missed that goal, and the try scorer, just to be confirmed, but I think was Cody Godden, number 12. They kick off again, and it's a very similar scene to the first one, but once again, first up tackles missed by And another break being made here by Mudgee. I was trying to catch that try scorer, but it hasn't come to me. And it might have been, in fact, Camden Sutton who scored that first try. But the Park Spacemen will need to aim up a lot better than this. Their first up tackles, they've missed a couple, and it's cost them already 40 metres or 60 metres as Clay Priest has held up. Goes away to Beasley, and Beasley just works it across the field. Gets the pass out there to Billy Carberry, and they come back to the left-hand side again, and it's the man that has been playing, Billy Carberry, out in the number 6 Guernsey as a pivot. So he's got good ball skills. Try to go out to the left-hand side, but it's been knocked on, left behind by Tom Lawson. Maybe there was some call for interference, but the referee, Anthony Pond, says no. He dropped the ball in that tackle, and it will be the Park Spacemen now in no hurry. They're probably trying to slow this game down a little bit because the momentum has been all with the Mudgee Dragons, who've taken the ball 70, 80 metres from the kick-off, and only for that one lapse could well have been looking at a second try. They lead by 4 points to 0. The prop forward there taking it forward is Nick Goal, and he's up to the 30-metre line, just outside his own 30. They take it now actually to the 30-metre line. He was just over his own quarter, the red line. And where are they going this time? They're just going to work it down the left-hand side of the field. And Brandon Page, who's been one of the leading try scorers this year, started as a winger, but the older he gets, the closer to the scrum he gets. And now they've given it out to the centre. And Tui Pompey, I mentioned that his brother has been playing with Canberra Raiders, had a few games in the NRL, and Tui is very happy to have been slammed into the ground. He lost the ball, but the ref is saying no. That was an overworked Mudgee Dragons defence that cost him that, and it's the 5'8", Manny Seri, who'll come up and put this ball into touch. First opportunity for the Park Spacemen to get a little bit of pressure onto the Mudgee Dragons, who lead 4-0, 6 minutes into the grand final. Peter McDonald Cup Premiership, the third. The first one was won by Forbes, the second by Dubbo Sims, and Mudgee were last year's beaten team, Sims the beaten team the year before. So is that going to follow a pattern as the ball goes across again, and it's given to Tui, and Tui puts it out onto the left-hand side, and I think it's Malachi Falau who's crossed out on that side of the field, or is it Jacob Smeed it is, the number 2, and he'll be delighted with that one. Jacob Smeed, been around for a long time too with the Parks Spacemen. It's 4-all in the grand final, and if anything was going to silence this huge crowd, which is mostly in red and white, as you can see across the field, the Mudgee Dragons, they are relishing hosting their first grand final since 2015 and looking for their first premiership since 2016, and they've started in style. They led 4-0, had an opportunity to extend that lead, but a knock on when they were trying to retrieve a ball at the play, the ball costly, because the Park Spacemen have had back-to-back sets via a penalty, and they've taken it across from one side of the field to the other, and it's the winger who's crossed on the far side, Jacob Smeed, with a lovely dive to plant the ball, and that would be a breath of relief for Chad Porter and his team. When you start the game and you're on the back foot, as they were, then you need a few things to go your way. Well, it's gone their way. That back-to-back set certainly was giving them the momentum, and then to score virtually from their first set inside the opposition quarter makes the score 4-all. And now it's an attempted conversion from out wide. Won't be an easy kick with that Mudgee crowd behind. Plenty of faces of the Mudgee players being held up as the kids will probably start banging on the fence on the far side of the field as they attempt the conversion. It looks good off the boot. It's coming back, and it's gone through the posts, and it's the visitors, the Park Spacemen, who lead by 6 points to 4. I think that was the fullback Sam Dwyer who kicked the conversion of Jacob Smeed's try. Plenty of young blokes who've come through the Park Spacemen over the years, along with a couple of players who joined them post-start of the season from the Pacific Islands, and they've had a really good history over the years of bringing those players in. And of course, one of their greats was a man who died earlier this year, died much too young, and that was the big prop forward who played in a couple of grand finals. In fact, when they won it in 2013, he was there. So there'll be plenty of emotion this afternoon as the Park Spacemen look to take it away from their own line. Just settling it down, nerves from that start and that opening bombardment from Mudgee Dragons. This time it's the second rower, Cody Godden, who goes low, picks up the tackle on Nico. They come to the right-hand side. 4 tackles gone, in fact 5 tackles gone, and only just outside their 40. Comes to the right-hand side. Are they going to run it? No, they were looking to run it, but a pass from the 5'8" Manny has gone behind his player, and that's a very, very poor finish to their set of 6. Won't be one that the captain coach Chad Porter would be happy with. They would have needed from over 40 metres outside their own line a long kick, and it didn't come. So Mudgee in perfect position to take the ball forward, and they do that. They get up through the winger, Jake Durant, who scored last week's match-winning try. They come across, and the man that's in the second row, he's not a big man for a second rower, but he's as wide as he is tall, Billy Carberry, and he just takes it forward. Now Clay Priest, who would be missing his man, Zach, but looking forward to being the man that does take the ball forward as Mudgee Dragons down by 2 in the grand final. Attacking, and they're attacking wide to the left. Lawson dummies a second time, pulled down just metres from the line, goes across, turn and pass across the field, and it goes to Jack Littlejohn, who we saw set up a try earlier in the season from a kick cross field that led to the man who just caught that, Ethan Peggis, scoring. This time Peggis wasn't able to score himself, but he had the astute nature to take the ball back inside and open it up down that tramway on the right-hand side. And Mudgee Dragons by 8-6. It seems that each time they have the ball, they're able to split the defence and don't negate that great run by Clay Priest, and also before him Billy Carberry, who really just charged at the defence, and that's got to hurt you when you're on the back foot. Starting to warm up a little after some rain this morning. Not a lot of rain, but just some moisture dropping out of the sky. On my trip over from Dubbo early today, had the windscreen wipers on. From Orange, the same thing. And here at Glen Willow, up until probably halfway through the under-18s, we saw plenty of rain as well. Just that light and misty stuff, enough to put on a wet and dry coat or put up an umbrella as Carberry looks to convert and take this out to a 4-point lead. Mudgee Dragons 8, 2 tries to 1 against the Park Spacemen. 12 minutes gone in the grand final, and Billy Carberry settles himself. You won't get a more difficult kick than this from out on the sideline, and where Sam Dwyer had the crowd against him. I'm sure that Billy Carberry will have the crowd with him, but as hard as they blow, they can't get that one over the posts, and the score remains 8-6 in favour of Mudgee, the team that go in as nominal favourites, as the minor premier. And I think and again, I think it was perhaps Camden Sutton on the far side of the field, but excellent work, a great kick from across the field. Jack Littlejohn, I think the last time I was here and they kicked like that, I thought it might have been off the side of the boot, but that was a very deliberate kick, beautifully taken by Ethan Peggis, and then he was able to loop around with David West, who crossed and gives them a try and a lead of 8-6. Again, from the kickoff, getting the ball out over their own 40-metre line. That's Peggis who's taken, and now Clay Priest steps off his right and just powers his way up to the opposition 40-metre line. And the little bloke, the captain of the side, Jack Beasley, darts another 20 metres And Mudgee certainly in a good position here with Jack Littlejohn back after suffering a broken arm in July and showing all of his experience from the NRL and the time that he spent here in Mudgee. Just a kick that will cement their place deep inside Park's quarter. The centre for Parks, Tui. No, it's Theo Fahangai. Again, they go back to the other centre now, Tui, and he's taken onto his feet. The halfback Porter, who was brilliant last week when Parks overwhelmed Bathurst St Pat's, trying to get his side forward, but they'll want a better finish to this set of six. The last time they tried to run it, this time they throw it wide, and it's the try scorer over there. Smeed gets the ball back inside, very scrappy, very untidy. They're trying to play some almost catch-up football here, but the referee has called this out, and there's a little bit going on. A couple of players rushing in, but interestingly enough, a man that spent the last two series of finals on the sideline because of suspension, Clay Priest, the captain coach, is the man in there as the pacemaker. He knows it's important to keep his full side on the field. Parks, well, they looked a bit desperate. They looked like they were throwing the ball around with only a couple of minutes to go and 10 points down. They're 2 points down after 15 minutes of this grand final, but it wasn't well thought out. And for two sets now in a row, the last time throwing a loose pass on the last tackle, and this time again desperately trying to keep the ball alive. Mudgee have coughed up a penalty, and Parks will just take their time. Look to get this out over the sideline. It will be Seri who comes up. Manny Seri, the number 6. He'll look to get them up over halfway if he can. It's not a big angle to work from, but he does get it up within the confines of his own half. So a couple of good runs here to get them over the halfway line, and they take it forward up to a metre from the opposition.
Good, mate.
And
Good
this
job.
time the big man who's carried the ball forward with plenty of gusto. Nico does get over the halfway line, but he's held and then forced back. And that's Clay Priest leading the way, the captain coach, and they come away to the left-hand side. Terry gets it away to Dwyer, and Dwyer, the fullback, is tackled on the 40-metre line. Can they keep it going? Dwyer plays, they get it away to a bloke that started in the second row or lock, but has moved up to the front row and been one of Western Round's best. Jordan Pope comes back to the lock forward now, Jake Porter. And Jake Porter's taken on the 5th, just 40 metres out. They're going to the air this time. No, they're not going to a big kick. They've gone to Ethan Peggis, and this bloke can run. This bloke's got the speed, and he's got the wiles about him, but he's been chased down by the winger on the far side, Jacob Smeed. And they would be looking at that going, gee, we've dodged another bullet, because he is a real speedster, Ethan Peggis. And one would have thought that he might have run away and scored the try. Mudgee over halfway, gets it away, and Clay Priest takes it forward. He just beats the first tackle every time he's got the ball, gets it up. But this ball has gone to ground from Mudgee. A couple of mistakes in the last few minutes, and now we've got a player come rushing in and knocking over the 10, Nico, who's got on his back. Before we go for a penalty, I'm not sure. But there didn't seem to be anything there. There was a tackle, there was a dropped ball, maybe it was just frustration. But there's still a little bit of push and shove going on, and it's Nico, the top forward, who's getting in there and letting the Mudgee forward pack know that he's not going to be put on his backside by them, no matter what the situation. And it could be another penalty going against Mudgee here, as the captain is being called out, Jack Beasley. There's been a couple of incidents, nothing that's really threatened to blow up. There's just been a bit of push and shove. But both touches have come in, and they're giving their advice to Anthony Pond, Bryce Hotham and Nick Lander. Nick Lander, the man from the far side of the field, he's talking to Anthony Pond. Anthony Pond is calling out the captain of the Park side. He's going to have a word to Chad Porter, tell him what he expects. I think this penalty will go to Park.
So we're going to play the scrum here. Take the time here to clean up the blood from everyone. And have a little wing,
keep this game with 13 players apiece. No penalty coming, and Chad Porter will feed the scrum after Mudgee lost the ball on just the second tackle. 8-6 is the score at the moment. David West, and I think the other try scorer was Cody Godden. And for Parks, a try out wide by Jacob Smeed, a spectacular leap at the finish, and Sam Dwyer kicked the conversion. Parks take it away. They tried a couple of times to take the ball out wide, but on each occasion, apart from the one where they scored, it's come to naught. This time it goes away to the second rower, and Brandon Page, winning 2013, loses the ball, goes into the hands of Cody Godden, who fights his way up to the halfway line of the line. Now he's been seen to have lost the ball, but the ref goes back to the very first lost ball, and that was from the Park Spacemen. Mudgee will be disappointed the first lost ball from common sense refereeing. And the Mudgee Dragons will now finish 8 metres inside their own half. 19 minutes, almost the first quarter of this grand final gone. There is a bloke that scored as many tries as anyone in the group. The centre, Cameron Sutton, and pushes one his tackle. Going forward, and that means Cody Godden for the Mudgee Dragons gets it away to prop forward. Nick Riley, one of the unsung, I suppose. He's one of those blokes who just keeps carrying and carrying, tackling when he needs to, and it goes to the right-hand side. Clay Priest, get out of my way, he says to Joey Dwyer, but Dwyer holds on and gets support from a couple of his teammates. Now Littlejohn coming across to the left, and Orr, who played in 2016, and the man they call the old fella shows that he's not too old to set up a try, and David West over for a try. It makes it now 12 points to 6, and this paper-thin defence of the Park Spacemen, they've been talking it up all season, their ability to defend, and they defended well last week in a 50-18 win over Bathurst and Pats. But today it seems as though the Mudgee Dragons, when they haven't lost the ball in a tackle, have been able to bust the line, and they've now scored 3 tries, yet to kick a goal. So 12-0 could well be up around that 16-18 points. Can the goal kicker this time put the ball in between the posts? It would certainly give them a nice little buffer. Billy Carberry, the 5'8", who's now playing in the second row. Last week, Mudgee were down 14-0, came back to win 29-22 against Dubbo Sims. Today, they started superbly, a try in the first set of 6, and they've added 2 more to lead 14 points to 6. Chad Porter's got a fair bit of work to do with his team. They've been unsettled by some of this ferocious defence, but more than anything by the hard-running pack of forwards from the Mudgee Dragons, who've punched holes and taken the ball deep inside the Park Spaceman defensive line every time they've got it. Now Carberry taking his time over this one, a couple of little steps, boot the ball, it goes out to the right, it stays out to the right, and the touch judges again wave it away. 12 points to 6, 19 minutes out from half-time in the Peter McDonald Premiership being played at Glenwillow in Mudgee. The Western League tag, I didn't give you that score earlier, but a first for Dubbo Macquarie, beaten by Bathurst and Pats in last year's grand final, winning this year 28-6. In the reserve grade, Dubbo Sims made it back-to-back 18-10 over Mudgee in a really tough game, and Orange Hawks overcame a tenacious Dubbo Sims under-18s to win back-to-back titles, 22-8 to the Hawks. Some big men and some excellent players, as the bloke who I've said has been playing 5'8", but now in the second row, Billy Carberry, and he'll stand out all afternoon with that white headgear and his tenacious defence and his ability to carry it forward. Now a penalty going to Mudgee, and it was one of the replacements that come on for Mudgee there. I think Chad Chandler who was taken to ground. The ball was deemed to have been stripped out. David West, who scored 2 tries, gets the ball, taps it, just takes it forward. But the way that they've been busting the defence, I'll be surprised if Mudgee don't get over the line again in this set. And there's Carberry again, just a deceptive little step, enough to get around Eddie Peramon, the Frenchman for the Park Spacemen. And it's the man out of dummy half, Jack Beasley, and goes cross field. And they're looking for Perritt again, and Pegasus is over. Just the 3rd tackle. And this could become a bloodbath. The last time I called a game for the Mudgee Dragons, they beat Dubbo Sims 68 points to 6 here at Glen Willow. And the way they've started today, and a fairly dispirited looking Park Spaceman could be in similar trouble, down 16-6 now, and still 17 minutes out from half time. And that was just too easy. They had 2 hit-ups and then the ball just thrown across the back line. And Pegasus, who loves to score a try, played with Dunedoo last year in their centenary season and certainly scored a couple of good tries for them. But this year has been outstanding, and why wouldn't you be working outside a back line that features Pacey Stockton, who's out today, but Tom Lawson at 7, Jack Littlejohn at 6, the centres David West and Camden Sutton, and then Pegasus on one side and Jake Durant on the other. And the play's all gone to the right-hand side. Now, whether they've seen something over there in Jacob Smead's defence or whether it's just a matter of Parks not numbering up, but that was a little bit too easy. They had 2-man overlap and the ball went wide. Pegasus dived over in the corner, and the Mudgee Dragons will be bringing dreams of the past back to life as they lead 16-6. The first grand final played at this very prestigious ground, Glen Willow in Mudgee. The kick coming from right on the sideline this time looks good and is good. And that extends it now 20 points to 6 in the grand final. And Mudgee Dragons looking to convert a minor premiership into a premiership. They've scored 4 tries in the first 25 minutes and they lead by 18 points to 6. Unfortunately, the Park Spacemen have had very little ball in the other end. Either they've made mistakes or they simply can't hold the Mudgee forwards, and we've seen it again from the kickoff. They've taken the ball out over their 20-metre line, almost to the 30-metre line, and this time Godden it is up over the 30-metre line. 2 tackles gone, getting towards where they can attack, and Clay Priest comes crossfield, just steps a little stutter off his left foot, but he's taken by the defence, and again it's the man who is the co-captain, Jack Beasley, who darts. So 40 metres out now from the Parks line, and we're just on the 3rd tackle, maybe the 4th tackle, as the referee goes back and has put his arm in the air. Now, the last time they had it over here, Little John came back across the field. They scored 2 tries in the grand final last year with a similar sort of a play. This time it's Dwyer who's gone up for the ball, but the referee is saying that the Mudgee Dragons were in front of the kicker, and that's feasible, because Little John was on the far side of the field and he was standing behind the defensive line. That kick was certainly one that Sammy Dwyer wouldn't want to have to field. He did go up for it, but before he even hit the ground, the referee had his whistle in the mouth. 26 minutes gone, 18-6 in the grand final, and the Park Spacemen desperate now to get the ball to the other end of the field and try and put some points on the board. 18-6 is a big score to come back in a grand final, particularly when you haven't been getting much ball, and when you haven't been respecting it. And Chad Porter, who was the man of the match last week, well held defensively this time, and it's the second rower, Godden, who's been very strong in the first 30 minutes of the game, pushes him down, pushes him back, and Parks in 4 tackles have only just made it over the halfway line, looking to come across the field this time. A wide pass out to the centre 3 forward, Feo Fanua, and he runs down the sideline, comes to the sideline. The referee looking at his touch judge, and he's calling this a knock-on off the hands of Mudgee Dragons, and it will be the Park Spacemen who get to play the ball. So a good position for them, back-to-back sets. The last time they had this, in a similar field position, they were able to get it wide and score a try. But the Mudgee defence has been outstanding in the first 28 minutes of this game, and once again they'll look to do the same thing. The number 16 that's come on for Parks has been very handy, Jake Hutchins, since he took his place in the field. They come to the right-hand side, a dummy and then a straightening in the attack by Brandon Page, but Mudgee deemed to be offside. So this will be the third set of 6. If Parks are going to get back into the game, you'd think that Chad Porter and his men want to score a try here as the lock forward, Jake Porter, takes the tap, gives it away to Eddie Peramon, the Frenchman who came out mid-season. He's taken about 5 metres away from the line. The Park Spacemen will all be going up here, looking to get it away to Chad Porter, was the hooker. Joey Dwyer. Porter steps but can't beat the defence, taking less than a metre out from his own line. This time they go wide and it comes across to Seri. His pass is sitting up there and again gone wide. A fortuitous bounce that looked like it might have led to a break there for the winger Malachi, but it's gone to ground. The referee saying no, that pass was forward, and despite the fact that Carberry and the centre West had taken the ball forward and lost it, he's going back to the first mistake. So Mudgee Dragons again just creating errors, and Parks looking to try and force the issue. Maybe a couple more settlers in close before they go wide, but they only went 2 settlers and then they came wide, and then we've seen a wide pass go to ground and then another loose pass that couldn't be snapped up, and this time that man Pegas darts out of dummy half. He's gone to ground. He's lost the ball and it's been deemed to be a lost ball, even though there appeared to be some hands in and around that. The referee saying no, lost the ball. He's getting a call from the far side, and 30 minutes of the first half of the grand final at Glenwillow in Mudgee sees a scoreline 18-6 in favour of the Mudgee Dragons. Chad Porter to feed. What have they got this time? It's picked up at the back by the lock forward Jake Porter, and he comes across to the centre, Theo. He's taken just on the 40-metre line, loses his headgear, but it comes back across to the replacement Jake Hutchins, who's been busy since coming onto the field in the first 10 minutes, and a replacement now, Cody Crisp, making his way out. Referee having a look at that tackle, but deemed to have been just around the shoulders. Maybe a little slide up from Ben Thompson, who starred for Dunedoo in the grand final in the Castlereagh League over at Gilgander a couple of years ago, and loves the horses out on the family property as they come to the right. 5 tackles gone, looking to get points on the board, trailing by 18 points to 6. A little grubber kick from the 5'8" Seri, and that is trapped and put dead inside his own line, and that was by that experienced number 6, Jack Littlejohn, playing his first game since July. I'm sure he'd be starting to suck in a few deep breaths, but it's been pretty much all one-way traffic this half, 18 points to 6. The kick-off is wobbling around. Seri gets it and comes back across, gives it to Jake Hutchins, who's taken just inside the 40. So they've got some time now to try and just consolidate the Park Spacemen. Cody Crisp taken 20 metres out, gets it away again to Seri, and Seri gets it back to one of the forwards, just crossing that 20-metre line, and that was another replacement, Eddie Peramon. They come wide, 8 metres away now from the Mudgee line. They need points. Can they put some points on the board? Seri gets it. He goes across to Chad Porter. Porter off the left, then off the left again, and gets it back inside to Seri. But Seri is tackled in the 5th tackle. And where are they going this time? Will it be a kick? Will it be a grubber? Will they try and run it on the last? Chad Porter goes crossfield. It's a lovely kick, but just outside the reach of his winger over there, who scored the first try, and that, of course, is Jacob Speed. So Mudgee, again, hold them in defence, and that was another 4 sets. 3, and then there was a penalty, and then an opportunity to get away. and this time looking to ruck it out from their own line, get to the 20-metre line, and Carberry is it that's taken that one forward. He's been busy. It wasn't Carberry there. It was maybe, just having a look, it was the winger, I think, that was in close there, and that's the winger Jake Durant. They come wide again. This time it's just pumped on to Durant, and he's taken by his opposite number, Malachi Folau. 4 tackles gone. Clay Priest held and then spins and goes to ground, but the experienced lock forward able to get it away, and it goes to another very experienced player, and that's the little man that started the season at fullback, having starred for Western last year, and that man, there's Tom Lawson. A good kick, and they've again put Parks on the defensive and harassing work in the ruck, and it's led to Mudgee creating another opportunity to put extra points on the board. 18-6 is going to be a long, long way back for the Park Spacemen. But if we get to 24-6 by half time, I think it's almost gone for them, unless they can do something stupendous here, hold out Mudgee, and then go the length of the field and try and put points on the board. 18-12 would be what they're looking for, but boy, it's a big ask as Mudgee feed, and the hooker goes to half. It comes across the field, it goes to Orr out to Pegas. Pegas does beat his man on the inside, but it's taken by the cover defence. Comes back across to the left-hand side, and they're looking now to take it through Chad Chandler. 8 metres out from the Park Spaceman line, and Parks really do need to hold strong in defence as Clay Priest comes across, pirouettes, swivels, hits the ground, gets back to his feet, takes another couple of metres, but is held up by the Park Spaceman, and this time a lovely ball across the field. It's been stripped out, I would have thought, by the Park's Spaceman, but the referee says no, he lost the ball in the tackle. It certainly looked to me like it was a strip, and it wasn't a one-on-one, but he's a lot closer to the play than I am, and Little John was looking to the far side, to the touchy on that side, almost appealing, but there's no replays here, there's no captain's challenge, so the Park Spaceman will just take a deep breath and take that little bit of luck for them. Yeah, it was the big man going forward, Chad Chandler, who looked as though he might have had the speed and the strength to get through, but he wasn't able to do it. Parks take it away, and Fio Ari is taken to ground, gets to his feet. The referee is calling the Mudgee defenders out of play, and now a tired-looking Parks team, certainly not running the ball one off. Is this a player coming from the field? Certainly coming out to this side of the field is Feo, who picked the ball forward on the left-hand side of the field, but he's back over here on the right-hand side now, and Dwyer gets it, takes it forward. No, it's not Dwyer, it's the second rower, Brandon Page. 40 metres out. They're just not punching any holes in this Mudgee defence that has been rock solid throughout, just copying up the one try when they were outnumbered on the left-hand side, and it goes out to the right-hand side. Semi Dwyer coming through, the fullback is able to get there, but he can't do any more than just hold on to the Mudgee player who'd covered that ball very well going back, and that was Ben Thompson. Now they're out to the 40-metre line again, and Pegas goes scooting across field, but taken a metre on his own side, probably fell down rather than was taken, and Mudgee with Clay Priest now looking to consolidate his team. They're leading by 18-6. Will they get further ahead as Little John picks up a loose ball that went to ground? 6 more tackles. That's number 1. 3 minutes before half time. It goes out to Godden, and Godden forward runs into the Park Spaceman, and every time they've got the ball, they're making these Park Spacemen really wish that they were in an atmosphere that had no force, because the Mudgee Dragons are blowing them off the park. And they've just done another one. That looked good coming out to the left-hand side. Lovely hands by David West, but the pass was quick. It was hard, but it was inaccurate and went out over the sideline. And now it will be Parks with 2 minutes left on the clock to try and at least not concede any more points and keep the ball in their own half for the first part of this, and then perhaps a long driving kick, but we haven't seen too many of those. Certainly none of them have been line grabbers. And the Mudgee defence, the red and white, has just been phenomenal. They've been relentless as Porter goes across to Dwyer, the fullback, and Dwyer gets it away to Smeed. Puts it on the boot, comes back, gives it back to Smeed. Smeed down the left-hand side of the field, and the big striding left winger crosses 5 metres beside the post. Now, there was some creativity that we hadn't seen earlier in the game. That ball going to the left, and it was terrific work by fullback Sam Dwyer and the left winger Jacob Smeed, who sprinted away, put the ball on his boot. Dwyer coming through was able to snap it up and then get that pass out wide. So they can score points. They can put points on the board, and they've done it. 18-10. That would be something more than they would have hoped for when they were down 18 points to 6, 2 metres out from their own line, and Mudgee on the attack. 18-10, Mudgee Dragons scoring early through Cody Godden and then David West and Ethan Peggis over for tries. In fact, they scored 4 tries and just the 1 goal coming to the second rower Billy Carberry, giving them their 18 points, whilst Parks have scored 2 tries. The first one was converted from right on the sideline, and this one a much easier attempt for Sam Dwyer. But if you're a goal kicker in a grand final, I don't think there's any such thing as an easy kick, because the pressure of the scoreboard, and when you're away from home, the pressure being mounted by the red and white supporters of the Mudgee Dragons would be weighing on your mind. But Sam Dwyer's been there in 2013. He was playing for Parks. In 2011 he played in the under-18s, and he's just taking his time, steadies, a good look at the post, good look at the ball, boot to ball, it goes through, and Sam Dwyer makes it 18 points to 12. And I think if you were a Parks Spaceman, well, you'd be quite appreciative that that's where it's come to, and it came right on the stroke of half-time, and a spectacular try. The other tries for Mudgee were scored by tremendous work, carting the ball through the forwards and putting the defence buckling holes, a couple of times just going out wide, and they've scored their tries. But Parks showing that they're not going to give up. They won their semi-final last week. And a nice scene here is the Parks Spacemen come from the field. They've lined up almost like you would at the end of a game, all slapping hands and coming from the field. And it's the Mudgee Dragons, with the big man coming through the gate there now, Zach Sadler, who badly broke his ankle last week, coming home from down in the Riverina to spend time with his club mates. In his first season, it's been memorable, but perhaps not for the right reasons. He injured ribs and missed 6 weeks, and then came back in that big game against Dubbo Sims last week, and after 20 minutes went down in a tackle and was taken from the field. The game here at Glen Willow is at an intriguing stage. Half-time, 18-12. I'm Jeff Mann. I'll take you through the second half when the players return. But like the players, I might go for a drink of water, and we'll come back on air shortly.
Let's go, Big Day! Big Day!
Teams back out for the second half of this intriguing grand final. Just been chatting with some of the officials from the Peter McDonald Cup, other media representatives and supporters of both clubs, and I think most people agreed that the scoreline at half-time could well have been 30 plus to 6 in favour of the home team, the Mudgee Dragons. But a spectacular try by the Parks Spacemen right on half-time has kept them in the game. That has just about cost them the game, because from the kick-off, the first pass goes to hand, goes to ground, Mudgee scoop it up, 3 men in perfect position to take the pass, And look, in the blink of an eyelid, that scoreline that I was saying before half-time should have probably been up in the 20s, maybe the 30s for the Mudgee Dragons. And what a contrast. Each time the kick-off has come to the Mudgee Dragons, they've taken the ball, they've taken it at least 30 metres away from their own line. And here it is, a good catch, a pass to the winger on the far side in Malachi Falau. He puts it down and Mudgee just come through and score the try. And I've confirmed that the try scorers in the first half were Pegas, David West and Camden Sutton, and the first try of that match went to Cody Godden, the second rower, but they certainly wouldn't have been talking about that as a way to start the second half. It would have been get down there, we're kicking off, let's hold them, try and keep them inside their own quarter so that we can defend, but it's just come straight through, straight down the field. And now the man who hasn't had an easy kick all day gets another opportunity, Billy Carberry, to extend the lead. 22-12. It's hard to believe that the Park Spacemen are still in this game when they were down by 18 points to 6 and defending on their own line, went the length of the field right on half-time. And this time, Carberry once again, he's getting plenty of elevation, but more like a 9-iron than the 5 that he needed, because it's just gone up in the air and then dropped down short of the post. 22-12, a minute into the second half, and it was Jake Durant who scored the match-winning tries last week against Dubbo Sims, who couldn't believe his luck. When the ball went to ground, he picked it up. I bet Mudgee don't make the same mistake here, as it's taken and rushed back towards the defence, and some ferocity in the defence there. The referee coming up and confirming that Cody Crisp, who made that tackle, had used his shoulder and not his arms, and then they finished it off. I think there'd be plenty of disappointment. They would have had a chat in the sheds, Chad Porter saying to his blokes, hey, well done. We've had a lot of things go against us, but we're still there. We're still there at 18-12. But to see what happened from the kick-off at the start of the second half would be devastating, and now they've got to try and lift, and it will take some doing, because Billy Carberry, who could well be named the man of the match for his efforts, not with the boot, but just tearing forward with the ball every time and creating havoc. And Clay Priest, now you watch, he'll step off the left foot, but he doesn't. He just has the Fijian sidestep there, tries to go over the top of Dwyer, couldn't do it, taken to ground. He comes back across to one of the replacements now, Ben Thompson, who I mentioned loves the horses. Well, he gets his strength from working with the horses on his family's stud, and they come to Jack Littlejohn, and he goes out the back to the fullback, and a lovely, lovely low tackle there by Fio Fiangua, and they are 8 metres away from their own line. That was a tackle that needed to be made too. And again, Cody Godden is the man going low, with Jack Littlejohn over the top to restrict Parks. They come forward, still only making one-on-one runs and not making the holes in the defence. The two tries that they've scored have both been outflanking on the left-hand side. And one would have to say the second one in particular against the run of play. The first one, after they had back-to-back sets, they threw the ball wide, and a nice pass out to Smead. The second one coming with plenty of pizzazz. And this time it's the 5'8" who runs it crossfield. Seri still not to the 40-metre line. Goes crossfield, is bouncing, but Chad Porter is able to scoop it up and puts the ball high in the air, taken by Nathan Orr, the fullback. He won 10 years ago the grand final, and he'd love nothing more than to go back-to-back in this one and sandwich it off. It might even finish off a career that started here at the Mudgee Dragons and has seen him travel around the place out to the 40-metre line. And again, Mudgee just looking more dangerous with the ball in hand. Pegas gets it out of dummy half, and the light-footed winger gets it up over the 40-metre line, goes through the tackle of Cody Crisp, who hangs on, and there's enough to keep him there. Bly, I think this time, takes it over the 40-metre line. And no, it wasn't. It was the replacement in Chad Chandler. Priest this time busts the front line, looking for someone to pass it off to, couldn't get it away. Little John, a wide pass out to Pegas. Pegas back inside, and it's the centre three-quarter, Camden Sutton, over try number 2. 5 minutes gone in the second half, and they're just too strong. The Mudgee Dragons have taken that ball from the kick-off. They've gone the length of the field inside a set of 6, chose to run it on the last. Little John coming to the open side, a wide pass to Pegas. Pegas was outside his man, gave it back on the inside, and Camden Sutton, who's been a try-scoring machine this year, the Mudgee Dragons crosses out wide, 26-12, and even the most optimistic of Park Spacemen would have to think that this is just a step too far. They had the ball, they came almost to the 40 metre, the 20 metre line from the boot of Chad Porter that went high. But gee, they're looking at a premiership here after the first of the games. Grand finals went to Dubbo Macquarie by 28-6 over Bathurst and Pats in the league tag. The reserve grade making it back-to-back for Dubbo Sims, 18-10 over Mudgee, and then the under-18s to Orange Hawks, who also made it 2 successive Peter McDonald premierships, known as the Tom Nelson Shield, with a 22-8 win over a gutsy but outclassed and outsized Dubbo Sims. The end score, 22 points to 8. And a terrific day of rugby league throughout. Now, Billy Carberry, with the crowd behind him on the grandstand side of the field at Glen Willow, his home ground. Another player who started his football here, went away, played rugby union in an Australian A team, and then has come back through rugby league teams and clubs in other places. This time boot to ball, it's out to the right, it's coming back, but it's short again. So the little fella with the solid legs and the wooden, temperament, as cool as calm can be, and has carted the ball back at least twice in every set and has been there in defence, just can't get the ball over the post. So 26-12, and they've scored, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tries, 7 tries to just the 2, but only 26-12, 2 converted tries for the Park Spacemen, who've got plenty of work to do once again. And their biggest work will be to try and keep this little bloke inside his own 40, and they almost do it on the tackle, but he gets up and Carberry takes it over the line. Now they come to the left, and it's a big fella out here who's taken there, Clay Priest. Boy, won't the people love him. He'll get the keys to Mudgee if they win this premiership tonight. They're first in over 10 years, and Clay Priest first as a captain coach, going across the field, and they've got a good line set. It goes to 14 in Ben Thompson, and Thompson, who's a lock forward or even a half 5'8", has plenty of ball skills, but he's taken down. The ball is played. It goes back through the hands of Jack Beasley, the co-captain, who was hoping that he could set his team up. A couple of uncharacteristic mistakes from Beasley this afternoon, but with 32 minutes left in the game, don't be surprised if he doesn't pull off some magic. But Parks will need the magic now, because they are well and truly behind, more than 2 tries out, as Sam Dwyer jumps out of dummy half, taken by Carberry, who's just put another little notch, I think, in the selectors who are going to choose the Dave Scott Bob Weir medalist from today's grand final with that lovely tackle. Comes across, they get over the halfway line and taken up about 8 metres inside. Clay Priest coming over the top. He's been highly disciplined this afternoon. Reaches back in on Chad Porter. Does grab him a little bit high, but grabs him, picks him up and says, mate, sorry about that. And the game goes on, and now it's the 5'8", Seri, who gets the ball, but taken by fullback Nathan Orr inside his own in-goal area. So it'll be a 7-tackle set, comes out up over the 40-metre line, and once again, Mudgee go on the attack. Here he is, Pegas, out of dummy half, steps left, steps right, and then goes straight ahead and straight into the defence of Toohey, the centre, and Chad Porter. But the referee saying, listen, mate, You went in low there, used your hand, the ball came loose, and this is not what Parks wanted. They wanted to keep Mudgee where they are. And I think Jack Littlejohn, just having a word to the players behind him. Jack Littlejohn, of course, who was the man who had coached Parks up until this last season when Clay Priest took over. Played last season, started this season, had a broken arm, didn't look like he'd play again, but nothing was going to stop him from this as two-time try scorer David West charges forward, and they're in striking distance again, getting inside the red zone as second rower Cody Godden takes the ball almost to the 10-metre line. And here he is, the little fella that's the co-coach, and he gives it to, that was Beasley giving it off to Clay Priest, the other co-captain. And again, Beasley comes out, it goes to the halfback Lawson. Lawson gets it away to Carberry. Carberry taking a metre out. What have they got? Well, they've got a replacement player, Chad Chandler, who just runs in close, and the Parks defence at 6s and 7s, and the man that will be happiest about that try is going to be, I'm sure, the goal kicker, Billy Carberry, who for the first time, maybe the second time in the match, will have an opportunity to kick a goal from less than 10 metres to the left of the post. That was just too simple. They came forward, they took the ball to the left-hand side, looked like they were going to go really wide, which they did for a couple of passes, but then Beasley went in. He found the big man Chandler coming close on the inside, and Chandler just went through a hole, scored 30-12. Match just about over, I would say. And is there going to be a change in goal kicker? It looks like Pegas might be coming up. He took over the goal kicking when they beat Dubbo Sims early in the season by 68 points to 6 here at Glen Willow, and came up and kicked goals from everywhere after the first 3 or 4 were missed. So 30 could become 32-12, and there's still 28 minutes left in this game. We see another replacement, Ryan O'Connor, coming onto the field in place of the man who scored that try, Chad Chandler. What a happy player he's going to be, a bloke that came from the bench, and it's been a 17-man effort. Ryan O'Connor, Hayden Carpenter, Ben Thompson and Chad Chandler, all on the bench for the Park Spacemen, for the Mudgee Dragons, and the Park Spacemen about to have Big Nico, the prop forward, come back onto the field. He's talking as we look down on the sideline here, and that one's low and skids out to the left. So their woes with goal kicking continue, 30-12, and that big man was Nico. And just before he went onto the field, he was talking to the security man down on the grandstand side of the field, a bloke who knows his way around the football field. Peter Gibbs played with Parks in 1996 under Paul Upfield, and they won a convincing Premiership, almost unbeaten through that season. I think they lost to Forbes late in the game. Now Mudgee again, leading by 30-12. It would take something absolutely spectacular and unseen if they had to get back into this game, Park Spacemen. But we saw it just before half-time when they went down the left-hand side of the field, probably 60 metres, a chip chase and a wonderful interchange between Sam Dwyer and Jacob Smead, who crossed just to the left of the post. This time it's the replacement, Ben Thompson, who carts it almost up to the halfway line, and there he is, Beasley out of dummy half, runs into the big man who's just come on, Nico, and goes to ground in the 5th tackle. Again to Littlejohn, and Littlejohn's not going to mess around. Sam Dwyer is going to have all the work to do here. He does take it, but he's tackled one-on-one by Tom Lawson, who's played number 7 for the last few weeks after Pacey Stockton injured his thumb and has missed the last part of the season. He'd be disappointed with that, Pacey Stockton, as the little fella again in there to make the tackle, and that, of course, is Billy Carberry. They're up to 30 metres. Now, it's normally one tackle that Mudgee have been getting that sort of a distance, but Parks are taking a little longer to get it out there, and Eddie Peramond, the Frenchman, would be used to ducking under high tackles, playing in the Pyrenees, I would think, as they go down the right-hand side. That's a nice long kick if it stays in the field of play, and it's just going to do that. and it will be the right wing or the left winger, Jake Durant, who runs it back. Already scored one try today, two in last week's spectacular win over Dubbo Sims, and Pegas comes crossfield. He's wrapped up by Tui and put to ground. Tui Pompey comes out again to the left-hand side, and I think that might be Godden, is it, or is it the captain coach? No, it's Clay Priest. He's been busy too, and I know that I sort of anointed Billy Carberry as a potential man of the match, but Clay Priest's leadership has been outstanding. And again, if it hasn't been Carberry, it's been Clay Priest who's been taking it up in almost every set, and another replacement on now, Hayden Carpenter. So they've got to use their full bench now, the Mudgee Dragons, in this 30 points to 12 lead in a grand final which will create history. The ball put to toe, it's put on the end of the boot, it's put on the end of the boot a second time, but going back the park, Spacemen run the ball dead, but will need to kick out from underneath their own post. I wouldn't think the body language tells me that they're going to be looking at a short kick out to try and retain it. I think they'd be looking to go long if they can. And if they could kick it 100 metres down near the referee, who's standing normally behind the goalposts at the Mudgee end of the field, that's where they'd go. But I could well be wrong. I'm not a punter. And if I was, I would be very wrong, because they've just gone for that short one. It's a leap from the winger Smead. It goes to Pegas, and he comes back, steps off his left, off his right, and then the wiry little winger is tackled about 8 metres out, comes to Godden, who opened the scoring in the opening minutes of the game, and the big second rower is tackled just out from the line, goes crossfield. They're looking for another one, and it's going to come through the halfback, Tom Lawson. He was an outstanding young player, Tom Lawson, in the under-18s Western Division last year and the year before, and he's shown this year that playing outside the likes of Carberry, Cody Godden and Clay Priest, he's got plenty to learn, and he just really took that ball at speed, carted it through, and has planted it down. 34-12, kick to come, 17 minutes. As I said, if I was a punter, I would have lost another one, because that kick out was just a short kick out. Went for it, Smead, but wasn't able to knock it back. And it was the Mudgee Dragons who caught the ball, and within 2 tackles, Lawson, the halfback, has crossed. And whilst it would be disappointing for Pacey Stockton sitting on the sideline and missing this win, I'm sure that he'll be very much a part of the Mudgee 17, 18, 19, 20, maybe 22 or 3 players who've participated this year, along with Zach Sadler, the big prop forward, who's been instrumental in many wins through the season, who's here on crutches today with his leg in a boot after breaking his ankle badly in last week's loss to Sims. Another attempt, and another goal kicker having a crack at this one, coming from the left-hand side of the field, and with his left boot, the ball again pushed out to the left. So 34-12, been a horrific day with the boot. Just the one goal has been kicked and another one missed. 3 goal kickers, 1 goal, 8 tries, and I think it was the fullback, that time Nathan Orr, looking to put his name on the scoreboard in what could well be his last season in first grade. 34-12, Park Spacemen are looking again to go short. It goes up, it comes down in the arms of Camden Sutton. And the chunky centre, who scored a swathe of tries this year, is tackled by his opposite number, comes to the 15, and that's Chad Chandler. He's taken out almost on the 40-metre line. Goes across to the 17 now, Hayden Carpenter, who's going to make the most of every minute that he's on the field. Perhaps he can still be there at the finish, having only come on a few minutes ago. 20 minutes left, so 1 quarter left in season 2024, and historic season for the Mudgee Dragons, who lead 34-12, and here he is. The halfback Beasley goes out. He loses the ball in the tackle. The referee's deeming that was stolen, and there were 2 in the tackle. Some would argue that was a loose carry, Certainly the ball was knocked down by a Park Spaceman, but it's gone to ground. Jack Littlejohn now kicks for touch, puts the ball inside or right on the 20-metre line. Mudgee got another try in them. It's going to go to Godden, and he's been strong. Every time that they've put the ball forward, he's taken it. This time, though, he's gone to ground. The ball stayed behind, and despite the fact that they picked it up, I think Godden is going to have a chat to the referee that maybe that was knocked out, but I don't think that referee Pond is going to be swayed by that. He just simply carried the ball forward, was tackled, and the ball went to ground. So Chad Porter, again, feeding the scrum. Have they got something special here? It's Dwyer who'll try and do it on the far side of the field. The crowd, I think, probably starting to think, well, we've seen it all today. We came to see Mudgee reserve grade. They were beaten. But we did come to see Mudgee first grade, and it looks like they're going to claim a title, although it's Parks will this time have a penalty. Parks having beaten Dubbo Sims in a major semi-final a couple of weeks ago, and then Bathurst St Pat's last week came in with plenty of confidence, but their confidence was knocked for 6 in the opening minutes when Godden scored, and there he is, young Carberry, up again. A nice low tackle. He's been leading with the ball when they've had it, and he's been getting up there in defence, and they come across the field. It comes across here to one of the second rowers. In fact, it might have been the prop forward there, who also started in the back line. And that is Jordan Pope, Western Division player, and the big prop forward Nico had another penalty. So this is 3 sets in a row, and that was for Mudgee. Not standing straight in the tackle. Clay Priest having a chat to the referee. Obviously didn't agree with it, but that doesn't matter. And there he is, Carberry in again. I'd love to have a tackle count for Carberry. He's assisted by Hayden Carpenter. They come across. Jordan Pope is pulled down. Had a great game against France a couple of years ago for the Western Rams, Jordan Pope. But he's been well held today by this Mudgee defence. And they go wide again. And it's the centre out there, well taken by the halfback Lawson for Mudgee. He just couldn't fight his way through Fienga. This time he dumps out a dummy half, and he does get through, gets there, lines the ball up, plunks it over the line. 34 points to 16. Can you believe it? At a goal here, 34-18, keeps them within range in a match that they have no right to be within range, because they've been outplayed in every sphere by the Mudgee Dragons. Maybe a little bit of tiredness, maybe a little bit lax there, the Mudgee Dragons, but full credit to the Park Spacemen, who haven't given up at 34-16. Kick the goal, here goes to 34-18. And Fienga is the man who scores that try. So 3 tries, 2 goals so far against the Mudgee Dragons, who've scored 8 tries and kicked 1 goal. It hardly seems feasible that both teams are still in this, although one would have to think Parks still need that magic powder to blow over the ground and land on them if they're to actually pull it out. But with Sam Dwyer kicking towards the goal, but unable to succeed. 34-16 is the score, and we're looking at a grand final that for the first time will go to a Group 10 team. Of course, Group 11 and Group 10 have competed against each other over many years, since 1946 when the group system was implemented. And Mudgee has won competitions in Group 14, they've won competitions in Group 10, but they haven't won a Peter McDonald trophy. And just again, another mistake almost made from the kickoff, and the try scorer Theo it was, who took that, passed it off to his big prop forward Nico, but Nico was able to hold on, and they get out to their own 40. Mudgee have been getting over the 40 on their first 2 hit-ups. But Parks has taken a little longer, and this time looking for a penalty as the 17 Hayden Carpenter pulls the player down, and Clay Priest coming over there to assist Ryan O'Connor. They go out to the right-hand side, but the ball goes to ground. It's gone backwards, says the referee. In fact, he's called it 6 again. So Parks are going to take a lot more tackles to get out of their own half, but it looks like they will get out of their own half, and they will on the back of Nico, the big top forward, who's had a couple of rests during the match, but made his presence felt when he comes out. Joey Dwyer gets it away to Chad Porter, and Porter trying to swivel and get it away is taken by his opposite number, the captain, Jack Beasley. Now they are up inside the 40-metre line. They haven't been there in the second half, apart from the try that they scored a few minutes ago. And the Park Spacemen go out to the right-hand side. A pass that was meant for a man coming back inside wasn't read, went to ground. Sammy Dwyer couldn't get to it, and Mudgee, again, come away from their own line out to the 40 metres, and David West it is that goes to ground. They get it back onto their feet, and a replacement, Ryan O'Connor, who's been busy in the time that he's spent out in the field in the red and white of the Mudgee Dragons, up to halfway. Beasley, and it's Godden, I think, is it, on that side? No, and there's a player coming from the field, and the replacement is Nick Bly, as one of the smaller men comes off, and it's the halfback who scored a great try just after half-time, Tom Lawson, who's going to have a breath. And I think you'll find that it will be the Mudgee Dragons who are going to get this ball after Parks knocked on. And Mudgee Dragons, 14 minutes away from an historic first Peter McDonald Cup. And it will be the captain, and I keep going to call him a halfback because he plays as much in the 7 position as he does in the 9, Jack Beasley, but in fact it's Jack Littlejohn who puts it in, and Beasley takes it. It goes out to Lawson, and then across the field, and Nathan Orr bounces off one of the Parks players, but the ball bounces out of his arms, and he's sitting on his backside, and it's Parks who have 13 minutes to score 18 points. 3 converted tries. It would be very, very unlikely. And the punting odds, if you're across at the races here in Mudgee this afternoon, you'd probably get 1,000 to 1 on that. But if you did, well, you could be a happy person going home to Parks. They trail, and they've lost a scrum. Now, the odds of that would nearly be 1,000 to 1 as well, because they had the ball in, and they have the opportunity to put it behind their own lock. Clay Priest coming back across as Beasley steams out to the left-hand side, and Beasley gets it away. No, it was Bly that was taken there. And again, the halfback, Lawson, gets it away to Luke Moody, and Moody's taken a couple of metres out from the line. Try time, I think, as it comes from Lawson, and they come wide again. Or gives it to that man West, who comes back inside, and he's only small, or appears to be small, but he's very, very strong and rarely doesn't bounce off the first tackler. He's taken about 8 metres out, goes to Beasley again, and this time to Clay Priest, goes to his left, steps and comes back to his right, and has taken a metre out. He'd love to score a try in this grand final, but they're going wide. It goes to Lawson, and Lawson gets it away to Godden, and he's held up over the line. It wasn't Godden at all, it was Chad Chandler. These big men, and they've been able to rotate them, as Hawks did a couple of years ago when they defeated Dubbo Sims. They've just had a power on the bench, and Clay Priest, and I'm sure that Zach Sadler is doing some work down there on the sideline, just rotating them. And when you're chasing points, as Parks have been, it's always very difficult. This time Chad Porter looking to execute something, comes down the left side, tries to get the ball away, it goes to ground, and Ethan Peggis, I think he's probably a fiery little character, places the ball down. Sam Dwyer comes across and runs into him, and then now they're all starting to get up and push and shove, but I don't think either team has got it in them to want to do anything other than see that clock hit 40 because the scoreboard could well be 40 in a minute. It's now 34 points to 16, could be 38-16, and that try coming to Pegas, who's again been one of those blokes that's just been engaged throughout the match, and that time the ball went to ground, he picked it up, he was able to scoot away, scored about 15 metres to the right hand side of the posts, and now who are we going to see kick this time? Not Pegas this time, they're going to another goal kicker, Tom Lawson. He'll be goal kicker number 4, and if he kicks this, I think the crowd will go up, because the second half has been one-way traffic again. The Mudgee Dragons scoring right from the kick-off. The ball was taken, passed by the Park Spacemen, dropped straight into the arms of an oncoming player who raced over out wide untouched, and they've just gone bang, 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 bang. 9 tries now, and had they kicked a couple of goals, this could well have been an absolute slaughter up around the 50-point mark. Tom Lawson looking all the goods, boot to ball, he is the goods, and he puts it through. And the little fella that carries the green kicking tee is out there. Boy, isn't he excited. He's holding it up, finger in the air, green tee in the air. 31 minutes gone, 40 points to 16, and Tom Lawson making this a memorable grand final as well. A try and then a goal, and all that's left to go now, I think, are the final notes that will be played on the piano as Parks come through. The ball's not taken but knocked back by Dave Godden, and then it came off a Parks boot and went back into the hands of Jack Littlejohn, and there he is, Pegas out of dummy half and scoots down the sideline, taken by Tui Pompey, and goes across again. And Godden up almost to the 40-metre line. It's very difficult now for Parks to find anything after just being trampled on by this Mudgee team that won the minor premiership. After going down in the first couple of games, they've made every post a winner, and they're going to make today's post a winner too and become the first as they go west. And it goes out through the centre on that far side of the field, west, and it goes out to the winger there, Jake Durant, but Durant was covered off by the Parks Spacemen, who'll now bring it back to the 10-metre line. They'll have an opportunity to run away from their own line. In fact, they won't. It's gone off a Parks player and come back to the Mudgee Dragons. So the Mudgee Dragons, who wants to get on the scoreboard here? I'm sure that Clay Priest, the captain coach, would like to add his name to the scorers list, but it's going to be Nick Bly. It's coming across again to Littlejohn. It comes out to Orr. Orr is taken in a difficult tackle, but bounces out of Tui Pompey's big hit, and he puts the ball over the line, Nathan Orr, and we'll be delighted with that one too. Nathan Orr, he's in the Premiership team in 2016. He'll be in a Premiership team in 2024, and who knows what's in store for this Mudgee mega team in 2025. He looked at every inch, the class player that went to Sydney and played juniors and lower grades, Nathan Orr, and scored that try with determination. He fended off the fierce-looking tackle of Tui Pompey and was able to, having bounced out of his tackle, find himself in clear air and planted the ball. Now that little Mudgee player who carries the green kicking tee is getting the crowd going. Dragons, Dragons, Mudgee, Mudgee, they're saying. And the man with the hat on backwards and the red Mudgee jacket and the green tee is having a look as Lawson lines up. Can he make it 2? This would be the first for the day if someone can kick 2 goals, because it's been no joy, and this time it is joy, 2 in a row. And he learned from the first one. He put it out to the right and it swung back 46 points to 16 in the grand final. 35 minutes gone. The last time that Parks played in the grand final against Dubbo Sims, they were beaten after winning in 2013, beaten in 2014. They've come today. They've shown during the season that there's plenty of character in the Parks Spacemen, but they haven't been able to convert any of that into points. And now Pegas comes away down the left-hand side. He just swivels and moves back in on his right foot, but taken by the defence there of Chad Porter. And it comes to the prop forward Luke Moody. Gets it up to within 10 metres at half-time. And the prop forward gets a little slap across the head by Eddie Peramond, the Frenchman, and Clay Priest gets up over halfway. 4.5 minutes left in the grand final at Glen Willow, and the crowd that was leaving was certainly not the Mudgee crowd. It might have been some Parks people, it might have been the people from Dubbo Sims, Orange Hawks, and from Dubbo Macquarie, who'd come to watch the lower grades. They might well be heading home for their celebrations or commiserations, but the ball's gone to ground, and it's the centre who scored a try already, Feo Faengra, gets up over the 40-metre line. I think he looked up for the try line at the other end, and that looked like a mountain too high to climb as Smeed, the two-try scorer, has the ball, tries to throw it away. The referee's going to rule that he's lost it in that tackle, and there he is. Young Pegas, boy, he's got plenty of character. He comes in and he's pretty excited about the fact that they're leading by 46 to 16. He's pretty keen because he's just made a tackle that has cost the Parks Spacemen the ball. 46-16. Can they get another little boundary and take it over the half century? 46-16 is a big scoreline in a grand final, particularly when there's only been 3 goals kicked in the game. 10 tries, 3 goals by the Mudgee Dragons. The minor premiers have converted that supremacy into a premiership, and now West, who scored 2 tries, comes down the right-hand side. He's taken by his opposite number, and over the top comes Tui Pompey, and he's up and about. Clay Priest goes crossfield, gives it away to Hayden Carpenter, who steps and comes back towards the centre of the field, but well taken by 2 defenders, and a dispirited Parks Spaceman, one would think now, as the clock counts down. Less than 3 minutes to go. Can they hold on out, or will it be another try as the Mudgee Dragons get it away to West? He sways back into off his right foot, tries to then step off his left, but just doesn't have the momentum to get over. Beasley away to Little John. And Little John boot the ball. It goes straight across the field. It is well read on the far side of the field by the winger Jake Durant, but also equally well read by Malachi Falau, who dropped that ball early in the second half, and Falau's able to push him out over the touchline. He'll play the ball. 2 minutes left, maybe just the one set, and I think Chad Porter would be looking to get his team down the field, kick it into touch, and get the referee to blow full time. 46-16, a comprehensive win by a team that has impressed throughout the season with their supreme fitness, their great self-discipline, and the skills built around 2 men that have played a fair bit of football in Sydney, in Jack Littlejohn, the man who's just made that tackle, and pretty awesome effort to come back. First time since July, and here we go. We've got a little bit of push and shove, and there he is, the captain coach, Clay Priest, coming over to stand up for his man, and he's saying, go on, get out of here. And who else is in there? Ethan Pettis. He does love a bit of a scrap, I think, Ethan. Certainly not going to take a backward step from anyone. And Park Spaceman failed to put this ball into touch. 40 seconds to go. Orr gets it, goes across field, gets a selective pass away to Fegas, and then it goes out to West, and West is running, dummying, throws the pass out over the sideline, and I think if the referee's a smart man, he'll have a look at that clock and say 40 seconds to go, we don't have time, We don't need to set the scrum. We'll just call this full time. And Clay Priest waving to his Mudgee crowd, his new home after moving here 3 years ago. 6 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1, 46-16 the final score. Clay Priest, you will be fated by your new home here in Mudgee as the Dragons run away with it. Nathan Orr over for 1 try, 2 to Ethan Peggis, David West and Camden Sutton. Jake Durant over for 1. There was a try and 2 goals by Tom Lawson, the halfback, a try to Cody Godden, the first of the match. Billy Carberry managed to kick 1 goal from about 7 attempts. Chad Chandler over for a try, and that gave Mudgee 46, just the 3 goals, and 2 of those coming in the last few minutes, while the Park Spacemen through Theo Fiangra, Jacob Smead, who's crossed twice in the first half, and that was just about it for them. 16 plays, 46. You can't get much more comprehensive than that. Forbes won the first Peter McDonald Cup 2 years ago. Dubbo Sims won last year's grand final. And the interesting thing is that Forbes beat Sims in the first year. Sims came back last year and won. Parks beaten this year by the Mudgee Dragons. Will they be back next year? How many of these players will be back with them? Because they have brought players from overseas, and I'm sure that there are plenty of players in both sides that have taken the eye of those people who come out of the city and look for players to go ahead. One that they would certainly be looking at would have been Carberry, although I think he's been there and done that and wouldn't necessarily be looking to go forward. I'm keen to see who they name as the player of the match in today's game, and we might bring that to you a little later in our coverage, because we're about to wind up our coverage here at Glen Willow. Plenty of white with the black and the red out on the field. Zach Sadler sprinting across the field there to say thank you to all of the officials. He'd be a disappointed man that he wasn't on the field, but nevertheless, to be part of a premiership here in his first season with the Mudgee Dragons, well, you've got to take the good with the bad, and the good for him would be winning a premiership. The bad is that he's going to spend the next few months with his leg in plaster, having broken his ankle and had surgery. Hope that you've enjoyed our coverage this afternoon. Thanks to the Western Rams and to our production staff who've been filming throughout the day, for all the volunteers who've contributed to make this grand final day one that will live in memory. The first time Mudgee's hosted a grand final here at Glen Willow, their first grand final since 2015, and their first win since 2016. I'm Jeff Mann. Let's do it all again next year.